Rev up your engines. All right, people asking me about pickup trucks all the time. They're whining, they cost too much money. People have said, gee, I was going to buy a Ford, but a loaded Ford cost me $81,000. I didn't want to spend it. Here is a brand new 2025 F-150. Guy bought it in the Carolinas for 50 grand. Let's see what he got. Is it something you'd want? What does it have? What doesn't it have? You're going to find out. Okay, it is an F-150. It's a real pickup truck. We'll unlock the door, show you what's happening in the back. Lots of room. He's got a lot of stuff in here. He's a traveling magician. So he's got these seats up, and of course they go down. Got fancy wheels. It's 4x4. Now it has a shorter cargo bed, but he doesn't really care about that. He's a traveling magician. Yes, there are traveling magicians these days. And he puts all the stuff in there, so he really doesn't care. It's made for towing because, as you can see under the hood, he's got a V8 naturally aspirated engine. It's a decent size. You can see it's a 5-liter. 5-liter Ford V8's can last a really long time. Since he watched my videos, he didn't want a turbo 6.9. I blame him. He's towing stuff. 8-cylinder, normally aspirated, no turbo to break down, no supercharger to break down. That's for the race boys in the Mustang. You can soup this engine up if you want, but he wanted a dependable truck, and really, 50 grand is a really good price for that. He knows how to deal, because the average new car today is like 49,000 something. Now for 14 years, he just told me he drove a Honda Civic, right? Now the gas mileage is a lot worse on this. When he's pulling his trailer with all his magician stuff, he says he gets 12, 13 miles a gallon on the highway. That's going to happen with any gasoline engine. The thing about that is, these gasoline engines, these 5-liter V8s can last a really long time. If you went diesel, okay, one, you're going to pay a lot more for the diesel because that's more commercial. For instance, now Ford doesn't offer an F-150 diesel. They got an F-250 diesel, and locally they're 72,000 bucks. Okay, for 22,000 bucks, you can buy an awful lot of fuel, and they still use fuel too. It's not like they're not using fuel. Plus, diesel costs more. So unless you're pulling extremely heavy loads commercially, most people, it doesn't pay them to go upgrading to a diesel. This is where Ford made their money, their bread and butter, a V8 pickup truck. And this is four-wheel drive one too. This isn't just the plain Jane cheap one. So for 50 grand, it's a pretty good deal. As you can see, any mechanic can look at this. It is a regular Ford V8. Everything is easily accessible, right? Batteries here to change. Everything is readily accessible. If you want to modify it, go ahead. You can put a supercharger on it if you want to go faster and get even worse gas mileage, but, you know, that's up to you. Now check it out. I love it. The seat has a regular old manual. It's not going to break. And look, it has a key. Now, it looks like a keyless remote, but it isn't. It's got a key. I like that too. I like a key. Now, it looks like it has the old-fashioned e-brake where you stop it and pull it, but no. It does have an electronic parking brake. Almost everything is like that these days. Now, look at the screen. A gigantic, beautiful screen. It's not blocking your view, but it's huge. It's a very good screen, and we'll put it in reverse, see what the backup camera looks like. Look at that extremely tight screen. Really finely integrated. You can see what's going on. And of course, you know, it's got all these crazy views and stuff if you want to fiddle with that stuff too. It's state of the art. There's no arguing on it. Got all the comforts, but it's not a rocket science thing. Fan, yes. A knob you can turn. Easy to use. Hot or cold, easy to use. You can turn the traction control off. You can play with the camera if you want. Armrest. That's what Ford people want. Look at all. There's a cavern in there. You can hide all kinds of stuff in there. Giant cup holders. And of course, it is four-wheel drive, so you can go 2 high, 4 high, or 4 low. Just at the push of a button. Now it's got the auto start, stop, but of course, you can push it as soon as you start getting in the habit of pushing it when you start the car. The worst thing on your car starting and stopping 90-something% of the wear is when you start a cold engine. Got to pump the oil up, everything else, you get a little bare metal wear. Do you want to keep stopping and starting your car? No. You're not saving much gas in this thing anyways. It's not going to save you much at all. Just turn it off when you're driving and your engine will appreciate it. It will last a lot longer. Let's say you don't. Eventually, the engine. Bearings will wear out faster, the starter will wear out, the battery will wear out faster, everything will wear out faster. And for the tiny amount of fuel you may save, it's not worth even having it on. So just get in the habit. Every time you start it, push it so it says off. It's got a nice big button that says off. You can't miss it. And on your sides, it's got the Ford adjustable pedals. You can bring them back and forth if you want to. Which I never really comprehended because the seat goes back and forth. Why do you need the pedals to go back and forth too? I don't know, but it's a thing with Ford. The stereo and buttons you can play with. The menu. Nice gauge setup. Got the temperature, got the oil pressure, and it's even got oil temperature. That's nice because people tow a lot with these. And this baby's rated at 12,950 pounds towing. I've seen people tow a lot more, shorter distances, but to be safe, they leave it at that. That is a lot, and this engine can pull it. That's why people buy this. They can put stuff in the back, they can tow stuff with it, and they don't have to worry. Now, this does have the 10-speed automatic transmission that a lot of people swear at, but 4,000 something miles on it now. And he said it shifted a little clunky at times, and they said, well, it's got to get used to your driving. And he says it shifts less clunky now after the first 4,000 something miles. It is intelligent, it learns things. So we'll take it for a road trip, and I'll see how I think it feels compared to the older ones. The older ones were pretty clunky, but they've had it so long, they're definitely working on the software, and I'll see how that feels. Here we go, backing up. We'll be careful not to run into his trailer, so we'll go the non-normal way. We'll go this way. That way, we won't hit his trailer or my neighbor's mailbox. Although, as you can see, it's got a really nice, humongous backup camera. First thing I'd say, this thing idles smooth. It is quiet. It just went into second gear, and the only reason I could tell, I could see the tachometer dropped a little. When it's there it goes, it just shifted gear again. You do not feel it. So far, this 10-speed transmission is much better than the early ones. The early ones had a lot of problems. But, as the owner himself said, it was a little wonkier when he first got it, and he said it's going to get used to your driving habit. The reason they get a little wonky is because they're 10 speeds, and they try to combine acceleration and gas mileage. So at certain speeds, if you're going kind of slow and you want to take off, it'll be a little wonky because it's trying to figure out what gear. It might slip up a little too high and then slip back down to get better gas mileage. There's nothing really wrong with the transmission per se. It's just that, as a lot of people have discovered, 10 speeds is actually too many speeds. A lot of them have settled on 7 speeds, 6 speeds, or 8 speeds. They realized 10 speeds is kind of overkill. There's too many shift points, and you really don't need that many shift points. It's not like you're driving an 18-wheeler with, million tons of weight you're pulling. They're not that heavy. You don't really need 16 gears. But Ford and GM put so much money in this 10-speed transmission. They're still pushing it, so this one's working okay so far. You can see it's smooth, handles good. You step on the gas, what do you hear? Oh man, that is a sweet V8. You can tell they lightened up the exhaust a little. It's a little bit louder than they used to be, but his is still stock. He hasn't changed at all. But hey, for 50,000 bucks, getting a truck like this, hey, I mean, the V8 engine, 4-wheel drive, as long as that 10-speed transmission holds up over time, that's the only thing that I'd be thinking about. But it does have a warranty. At the back of road, we won't be taking it in a cornfield, but we could if we really wanted to. It's a full-size truck, and nobody's coming there, nobody's coming there. You feel like you're in a truck, because you are in a truck. You don't get that V6 turbo lag, and of course it's got all the bells and whistles, anti-collision, and all that stuff. It's just, And well, look, there's nobody behind us, and so here we go. Traction control worked pretty good. It stopped the squealing mainly, but it lets you do a little at least, so you don't seem like you're a wimp. Of course, we don't have it in 4-wheel drive. If we had it in 4-wheel drive, it wouldn't have made any noise at all. But as you can see, it's just like a classic pickup truck. At 50 grand, I'm blown away that he got that cheap. I guess in the Carolinas, people don't have the same amount of money, and so they couldn't charge as much. And like I said, he could have got better gas mileage with the diesel, but then he would have gone to F250, and that would have cost him another $25,000. So I'd say 50 grand, this thing was a steal. And the twisties, it is a pickup truck, but they've really improved the suspensions on these things 2025. These things used to be dogs cornering, but no, realize they've got the suspension systems set down pat now, and with all the extra aluminum, it's a lighter truck than they used to be, so it doesn't have as much weight that you're throwing around in corners. I gotta say, for 50 grand, if I was spending 50 grand on a new truck, this is probably what I'd buy, because I won't touch the Tundra since they took the V8s out. They ruined them. Now these, you get a V6 turbo if you want, but at least as far as I know, Ford is not as insane as GM, where they're putting 4-cylinder turbos in their Silverado 1500s. I've seen those things blow at 45,000 miles. I had one customer have it go out, and they said, "We're not going to give you a new engine. We're fixing your old one." And he's like, "Wait a second. I got a new truck, and the engine went out already. You're only going to fix it?" He said, "By law, we only have to fix it. We don't have to put a new one in." Well, you know what I say? Don't buy one. You'll never get stuck in that kind of a situation. And since Ford isn't throwing the tiny little things in theirs, I think they're smart. They know their market. What's there not to like about this except for low gas mileage? But any V8 is going to be like that. Just face the facts. They're not going to be like this Volkswagen Beetle that's still rolling around. You don't see too many of them because all the transmissions blew up. Well, hey, it's a smooth truck. He hasn't had any problems with it. And really, for the money and for what it's capable of doing, you really can't argue it. I have to say, if somebody says, "I want to get a new V8 truck," I'd say buy this truck. If Toyota still made the Tundra, hands down, I would have said buy the V8 Tundra. But Toyota doesn't seem to care for that market share, so hey, it's up to them. They don't want to make and sell something like that. They don't have to, but they're losing out on an awful big market. So there you have it. Brand new 2025 F150. Certainly get you $50,000 worth on it. The only question is how the transmission goes up, and he's a smart man. When the warranty runs up, he's going to get an extended warranty for the engine and transmission. So, hey, 50 grand, you're getting a pretty decent truck. That's all I got to say. V8, normally aspirated, should last a really long time, can tow 12,500 pounds, and get you where you're going in a pretty comfortable mode. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.